Corner Kids Apparel. Never be afraid to fly. For more, visit cornerkidsapparel.com.
Yeah. It's mid official, ENH, Coop, high side. Watch me. Yeah.
Good morning. This is CDC along with Mid Official, and this is Mixing with Mid. Good morning, Mid. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
What's up, you guys? My name is Mid Official. I am an up-and-coming independent artist from Denver, Colorado. 35 years old. Been doing music, we'll just say for about 2 years now. Keep a long story short. But today isn't about music, hence the title Mixing with Mid. Today we are going to talk about alcohol, addiction, everything else that comes along with it. And I'm going to share my story with y'all. This is the first episode of many, and hopefully I could help save some lives. If not save them all the way, at least start to change them. And yeah, that's what we're doing today. And I appreciate taking the time to do this first interview with me. And when you're doing something like this, the best guest is yourself. You know, I want to tell my story and be 100% transparent. So yeah, I appreciate you.
Okay, well, let me get that first question out there for you, Mid. How old were you when you started drinking? Like, when you took your first drink?
I want to say I was about, if I wasn't 16 all the way yet, I want to say I was 15. My first drink is probably Mad Dog 2020, MD 2020, if I can recall, or maybe beer.
Okay. So, how long have you been drinking?
How long had I been drinking before I decided to quit, or?
Before you decided to quit, that's correct.
Shit. It was, I'm about to be 36. I quit last year. I was 34, so that's almost 20 years of drinking.
All right, that's a long time.
That's a long time, a lot of damage to the liver, and the way we learned to drink too. At least when it came to me, the first time I started drinking hard liquor, I got put on shots. So, you know, straight shots of liquor over the years to your gut and liver, just imagine the damage that, you know, that we do to our body over the time.
Yeah, that's very damaging to your body.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you drink every day?
When I first started drinking, I was still under my dad's house and rules, so I wasn't really allowed to go out, you know, to the parties and stuff like that. So when I first started drinking, not at all. It was really sparingly. But there were spurts where I drank every day for different phases of my life.
Okay, so when you started drinking, you were a minor, so you weren't really old enough to drink, correct?
Correct.
How did you get your liquor?
In Denver, which is where I grew up, it's a city, so it's fast paced. So we would do something called shoulder tap, where we just asked somebody we thought that was cool enough, somebody that wasn't gonna tell the police on us or let the liquor store owner or whoever was working let them know. But yeah, we would just ask them, hey, can you get this for us? We already knew what we wanted or whatever. And 9 times out of 10, we were more successful than we felt. Some nights it might have took longer than others, but yeah, and then the people were usually cool that did it for us. They got our stuff, and you know, we shot them some extra money to get what they needed, or they might have asked or whatever. So yeah, I mean that's how it worked, you know, in the city. That's how it goes down at a lot of places. People ask me to buy them liquor and tobacco and stuff these days. So yeah, it still goes down.
So would you say that an adult contributed to you becoming an alcoholic, or?
We could go ahead and be 100% real. I'm gonna say yes by them buying it for us. It enabled us to drink. You know, it helped us do something that we weren't supposed to be doing. But me personally, I'm speaking for myself. They helped me in the act, but the addiction came down the line. you know, when you first start something, you're not addicted to. I mean, you can get addicted after your first, whatever it is you're doing. For instance, you know, crack smokers back in the day, or people still smoking crack today. Shout out to y'all. You know, they take a hit, and that hit, if it's a first time user, that strong effect might be enough to get somebody addicted. But I wasn't addicted right away with alcohol, but the more and more I started to use alcohol, the more often I started to drink. And, you know, our body, just like anything else, the more food we put in our body, the more sex, the more tobacco, whatever, our body's going to crave it more and more. So the addiction grew over time. But as adults, you know, although we did it and we used to ask people, we got to say no. You know what I'm saying? We got to be better than we once were. And, you know, we got to get back, because I'll be telling these kids no, they understand, but I take time to explain why I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Because you help anybody, especially minor, you buy them tobacco, weed, whatever, you are contributing to that. And it starts with us as a people. We got to be self-conscious of that.
I agree. That's very true. So, do you feel that you were a closet drinker, or did you always drink in front of people?
Hey, you got to watch your words. We got fans out here. We ain't never been close to no closets or came out of closets, girl.
Well, let me rephrase that. Were you a hidden drinker, or did you drink in front of people majority of the time?
Okay, there were times that when I hung out with like women, I would try to hide how much I was drinking when I was actually kicking it with them. There were times I would sneak out to the bathroom and take a shot, or maybe to my room. On certain occasions, I hid my drinking. But at that time, I was drinking to cover up different flaws that I had. That was the reason for that. And although I was drinking like with the females and kicking it, I still would, you know, take my extras. You know, that's how I rock when I felt like it was something I needed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. What was your main poison?
Can you elaborate further on that question?
What did you mostly drink?
Oh, okay. Well, I like beer. Beer was cool. I never really specifically got drunk off beer, or, you know, beer was something that I felt like I could handle. But the shots, it was the shots. Like,
So hard liquor?
Yeah, hard liquor.
Were you taking shots of beer, or were you taking shots of whiskey?
I drank a lot of rum, light liquor. I drank gin. Whatever I was drinking at the time, it really wasn't specific poison, because it's all poison. Especially if how you're using it, or if you're not using it in moderation and it's affecting you in a certain way, it's all poison. But with me, it was just shots. When I acted a fool and everything I did, it was shots. And I tried to police it. But when you're around people and the parties jumping, the music's going, and everybody's indulging in the same thing you are, it's hard to see what's really going on with you, or really know. But I want to say when I was like about 25, 26, I really started to self-consciously pull myself out of the party scene, away from the party scene. And so I knew the nights like I would act a fool, or the nights I get super faded, like it was shots involved. You know, instead of fully addressing the issue, you justify it. Instead of quitting drinking completely, which I know I need to do, tonight I'm not going to do no shots. We're just going to stick to beer. Or we're done drinking shots, we'll just do beer. Or tonight we're only going to do 2 shots. And then next thing you know, whatever it was I was doing, it might be 2 weeks later, I'm back drinking shots. Whatever I said I wasn't going to do, or that night, only 2 shots. It's 11 o'clock. I'm from front of the liquor store buying shot 8. You know, so the shots was like my ultimate enemy when it came to the whole gist of drinking in general. Shots was my enemy for sure.
So that was your poison.
Yeah.
My next question is, when did you realize you had a problem?
Man, I can't even tell you. There'll be so many nights I'll wake up on top of still being hungover. Just be ashamed of what I did the night before. I might have fell, passed out early, maybe said some shit. Like, And it comes to a point where you get tired of it, but when you have that addiction, that problem, you don't want to quit. If I have other listeners that may not be struggling with alcohol, but are struggling with another drug or whatever, it's all the same shit. Along with starting to drink at 15, I started doing ecstasy at age 17 and then started to graduate on the other drugs like, cocaine. They were nice back then, even when I was younger. It was one of those party nights. I had acted a fool. And when my cousin came and got me, I just started breaking down. I was crying. I was just mad at myself for the actions the previous night before. But it was like a cry for help too, but how do you cry out for somebody to help that's indulging and doing the same thing you're doing? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and just along with that, I'm saying there's probably not one person out there that hasn't never taken a drink. Myself, starting out like you. Normally, I think you start out with the wine. Not being old enough, I waited till I was 18 to have beer, and that was the nastiest thing that I ever tasted.
Right, yeah, beer is definitely acquired taste.
So then there was the liquor. Now, I don't know as far as mixing it with pop, soda, whatever you call it. That was still a nasty taste. Do you like that taste, or do you like what it does for you? Because to me, I've tasted rum, tasted Hennessy, I think I've tasted gin. All of those just have a nasty taste. So how do you acquire to drink that straight?
Beer was nasty as first, nasty as fuck, but I actually like beer. Although I do not drink anymore, I still like the taste of beer. So I drink non-alcoholic beer. There's a lot of companies that are starting to manufacture them now and make them now, but I personally stick with Heineken to just more because I know it's 0.0. So I grew to actually like the taste of beer. As far as liquor, I tolerated it, but liquor is different in the taste. The cheaper the liquor, the nastier it is. But the more expensive the liquor, like the more time it's been distilled and all that other stuff they advertise they do to it, you could actually taste the difference. It was still nasty though, but I liked what it did. How many times do we compromise ourselves to get instant gratification? You know what I'm saying? Do something like we know we shouldn't do, or doing something that we necessarily don't want to be doing to get a quick result. So hell yeah, I compromise my taste buds to get faded.
All right, you have to think about what was one of the worst things you've ever did while you were drunk.
Yeah. It's mid. I know y'all want to hear this answer, but before that, my new single, Rent Assistance, will be dropping on all streaming platforms this Friday, August 26th. If you haven't yet, make sure you go check out the official video for it right here on this channel. While you're there, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell for all notifications. Some of you guys are subscribed to the channel but don't know when I drop new music because you guys do not have your notifications turned on. So make sure you do that. It's mid.
Fall out, fall on the dance floors. I fell asleep in the club, drunk as fuck. Like the whole club. I remember 2 different locations this happened at. Once was in Nebraska, Omaha in the club, and once was out here in Colorado. I done pissed myself, been drunk, passed out in my car, in a parking lot. Like I remember one time I was in Nebraska. I had been drinking all day. I had met up with a friend. When it was time to go our separate ways, I was trying to leave or whatever. I didn't even make it out the parking lot. I ended up waking up in the parking lot. I was in a rental car. Like I could have got robbed. One time I drank all day again. And this time I had passed out in the daytime. So I believe because I was hot and me like waking up half conscious and half not, it was so hot that I lay like literally on the ground. Broad day, went to sleep. And I remember somebody waking me up and getting me back in the car. And that was dangerous because this time, I'm laid out in a parking spot. Somebody could have been trying to park and ran over me. It was all bad. Embarrassing, falling in front of people, just all sorts of shit. But when you're trying to feel justified doing something like this, you can keep going. They were nice. I know I acted a fool the night before. I fell and shit. I laughed it off and drank the next night. I mean, it got to the point where people got used to me doing stuff like that. Passing out at parties, passing out early. I remember my 21st birthday party. No, my 20th birthday. I drank so much, the first hour, I passed out the whole night. Just slept on my birthday, But being known for it, it kind of got to be acceptable. And it wasn't their responsibility over my addiction or whatever. But none of my people were saying, hey, you should chill out drinking or you fell last night. It was just all fun and games. Next night, I was back at it. But yeah, all that shit was bad. And on top of that, fucking up different relationships with females. I know for a fact that I've turned off some females because of my drinking and how much I drank in front of them and just all sorts of stuff. I just say waking up in the parking lot. Waking up in the parking lot inside the car is one thing, but when you're outside the car because you've been outside faded, sleeping, dirt on your face and shit, just looking like a bum. That shit ain't cool. That ain't a good look. You know what I'm saying? Although I made a joke about it, that's what it is, a closet addict or a functioning addict. When you're on dates and shit, trying to present yourself in a certain light, anything you're struggling with or whatever is going to show. Eventually, it is going to show.
And in closing, this is one question I have. What do you miss since you stopped drinking?
Shit, nothing. To be honest, this was the best decision I ever made. All honor goes to my God, Jesus Christ. Everything's possible with him. Nothing's possible without him. I truly stand by that. I believe that 100%. I carry that with me every day. I will acknowledge the Lord in all things, from the big to the small. I couldn't do this without him. There was no way I could have did this without God. And to all the listeners out there, if you don't have a relationship with God, try to get you some God. Learn more about him. Get you some God in your life, especially if you're going through addiction and all of that, because a lot of the times we need something stronger than ourselves to pull us out of this. And that's what I had to do. I had to give to God. I started off the year 2021 promising God I was going to watch how much I drank, but I didn't uphold my end of the bargain. And so I had to literally 100% relinquish this to God. I had to make, which in my eyes is the ultimate promise, the ultimate prayer. The night I quit drinking, which was June 28th, 2021, I said, God, if I ever drink an alcoholic beverage again, strike me down on the spot. Which means take my life from me, kill me right then, and so, yeah, the answer to your question, I don't miss anything when it comes to drinking. That's the best decision I made in my life. Once I quit, I started to see results in the week. I don't miss it at all. And I don't know if other people that have struggled with addiction, if they could relate to this. There's been times, for instance, I was at the horse track. I was there on a Sunday. And I was walking around just thinking man, there was a time when I would come here, I used to be so faded, so drunk, where I would drink all day. And it made me sad a little bit. Damn, I used to be really here, fucked up, faded, going through it. But it actually works in reverse. Since I quit drinking, sometimes I just be ugh. It's so disgusting. Remembering how I used to be, all faded. Fuck no, I miss drinking.
All right. That was a great interview. Tune in with us again.
Thank you for taking the time to give me this interviewing me personally. This hopefully will help save lives and help turn lives around as well. Glory to my God for always sticking by me and keeping me, even when I didn't want to keep myself, by the actions I was choosing to do. But yeah, to everybody out there that's struggling with addiction, maybe a former alcoholic or somebody that's been wanting to quit, that's thinking about it, maybe you might even just relapse. We're all in this together. Just because I hit my year of sobriety doesn't mean I'm better than anybody or none of that. This is why I'm doing this. I want you guys to receive and just have this feeling that I feel of knowing that I conquered and I beat my battle with alcohol addiction. But this can't happen overnight. We have to take it day by day. find out something that works for you. Find your reason to quit drinking or whatever it is you're struggling with, and just take it day by day. And you're going to have your good days, your bad days. You're going to fall short, but keep going. And we need to stick together. If you know your brother's struggling, motivate him and take 5 seconds to give somebody a word of encouragement or call them and check on them. Hey, how's your weekend or whatever. Even if we all stick together, there's no way we could, save everybody or help everybody, but we can help some people, and helping some people is better than helping no people at all. So yeah, you guys hang in there, take it day by day. And once again, if you don't have God in your life, get you some God. And tune in to the next episode where I will be interviewing my good friend, Charles Bills. It's me.
Ran up on the gas company, went straight to the studio. Know they want some cash from me, spent it in the studio. Even spent my gas money getting to the studio. Needed something asked for me, I'll be in the studio.